Hello, and welcome to Bonus, episode 11. I've just about got back into the swing of things after the Christmas break and New Year and all the rest of it, and I'm facing down the last leg of Ghosts videos. I've just recorded the voiceover for episode 20, and there are 30 episodes planned, so that means we're 2/3 of the way there, pretty much. Anyway, this week I have some full gameplays from recent recording sessions. It's been a busy week, so I don't have much else to hand, unfortunately, but it'll do. There's some good gameplay here. The M27, I don't want to say it's hideously overpowered, but let's just say it's hideously overpowered. You hear a lot of people complaining about the shotguns and stuff like the MSBS, but to be perfectly honest, I mean, my KDs with those particular weapons weren't that far out of the ordinary. I think my overall KD in Ghosts is something like 1.7. I think I had a 1.6 KD with the Bulldog, and a 1.6 something KD with the MSBS. The M27, however, 2.75. Now, maybe I just had a good run, maybe I was playing against noobs, well, probably. But the fact is, it's good, it's a really good weapon. But you didn't hear it from me. Anyway, on with the questions. Kobayashi Maru 87 says, who is your favourite fictional character, and why? This is a tough question, because there are so many fictional characters. Who do you choose? I suppose it should be someone that I identify with, you know, someone who I can relate to. But the characters like that are kind of rare. There is one guy that I always identified with, and that would have to be Dr. Gregory House from House MD. For some reason, he kind of just resonated with me, you know, he's this genius doctor who can do his job and do his job really well, but he has absolutely zero respect for authority. A rebel with a cause, if you will. Maybe I'm flattering myself, but that's my answer. I'm sticking with it. Model Omega says, what's your favourite soft drink? I'm a huge fan of Iron Brew, but it's really hard to get in Canada, and even when you do find them, they sell for $3 a can. I'm a big fan of root beer. I have a feeling my favourite soft drink would be a root beer or a sarsaparilla, maybe a dandelion and burdock, I'm not sure which. I drank a lot of Barq's root beer whilst I was in LA. I got a taste for that stuff, but they don't really sell it over here, so I have to get it on import. And I've got the same problem as you with Iron Brew, so I end up paying about £1 a can, which isn't so bad, but it's more expensive than domestic options. Speaking of Iron Brew, I am quite a fan of the orange stuff. I don't drink it too often, but I do quite enjoy a spot of Bar's finest. Actually, Bar's make a pretty good limeade as well. There's a brand called Fentimans, and they do some quite nice stuff here as well. Mostly like traditional ginger ales. They do a cola as well. I really like traditional colas with actual cola nut in them. I like that taste. It's nice. I do also occasionally indulge in energy drinks. I mean, I like caffeine as much as anybody else, and if you cram enough caffeine into a can of something, I'll drink it. I do try to stick to the sugar-free stuff, though, because, well, I don't know, it's empty calories otherwise. And the blue flavour of Relentless is probably the best in that regard. Of course, despite all these preferences, most of the time I end up drinking Diet Coke, because it's, you know, it's refreshing, it's caffeinated, it ticks all the right boxes, and it's by far the most commonly available. Ever since I got an espresso machine for Christmas, though, I have been drinking quite a bit more coffee. Nothing fancy, no frills, no artificial sweetener, just black, caffeinated goodness. I can get behind that. Oh, Timmy says, what do you think of ad blocker? Do you use it, and does it cause you to lose ad revenue? Ad blocker, I don't currently use it. I have used it in the past, but I don't really use it, because I don't know, ads don't bother me that much. And I suppose, you know, as a content creator, you know why they're there. And yeah, well, the more people that use ad blocker, the less money my channel takes in. It's as simple as that, you know, if you rely on ad revenue for income, then ad blocker reduces it. That said, I'm not going to get too preachy. I'm not going to say to you, don't use ad blocker. It's your own choice. But my channel does exist solely by the grace of those people who don't block ads. Because, I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't produce videos if I didn't have ad income, but the ad income helps me to make it a full-time thing, you know? So, block ads if you will. I can't stop you. But if you are going to do that, at least buy me a birthday present or something. It's the 5th of August. I also accept donations. In fact, if you wanted to make a sizable donation, we could even take some video requests. So if you really want to see Behind the Lines episode 2, then well... Anyway, yeah, relying on advertising revenue kind of sucks. But as long as you turn over enough views, it kind of works out. There are a few promising crowdfunding things going on in the background, stuff like Patreon.com. where you can effectively sponsor a content creator that you enjoy. You know, you can give them, say, a certain amount of money per month to encourage them to keep on going. Now, I'm not the sort of person to go cap in hand, but I do think stuff like that does have potential. I think Twitch has a pretty good model for subscribers, where you get like special emotes and special status in the chat. I wish YouTube would actually take an initiative on this front. It would be nice if I could offer some perks in exchange for like a membership fee, like a VIP sort of thing. If you pay like, I don't know, $3.99 a month or something, you get access to videos a day early, and maybe you get some special videos that are exclusively for VIP members or something. I don't know. Money is kind of a dirty word in this business, but there is a balance between milking your subscribers and ending up destitute. Anyway, if you don't run adblock, you're brilliant, thank you. Order for the win says, "Hello Mr. Brown, I have one question. You mentioned in number 7 you like the hard house scene. Do you know the hardstyle scene then? It is basically originating from hard house in a way, and that's why it got me thinking. And if you eventually happen to know it, do you have any favourite DJ or producers?" Yes, I do know of hardstyle. It came from the Netherlands, didn't it? It's a Dutch style of music. It is pretty similar to hard house, so I can get behind it, but I haven't really been keeping up with the scene, so I can't say I'm too familiar with any hardstyle producers. There is a lot of crossover though, so I'd wager a lot of the hard house producers that I've listened to have probably dabbled on the hardstyle side of things as well. Baron Drown asks, "Stuart, what do you think of incentives in video games? Do you think the amount of weapons, upgrades and bits there are to unlock in games like COD and Battlefield 4 keep people playing games that they otherwise wouldn't care to play? I often hear of people discussing aspects of gaming as if it inherently can't be enjoyable without some in-game reward for completing this or doing that. I think a well-designed progression system can add to a game. It can help with a sense of progression if you can sort of see all of the things that you've done, all of the kills you've got with a certain weapon. And it can also establish ad hoc quests as well. Like for instance, if you see that you've got 93 kills out of 100 with a given weapon, it can kind of give you a mission, you know, get 7 kills with this weapon for an XP bonus. So it's almost like an open-ended quest log in some cases. And in a well-designed system, you'll always have something to do, something to work for, but it should never feel like a grind. And that's, I think, one of the common traits with bad progression systems. If it feels like a grind, you're probably not doing it right. I would also say it's probably not fair to have higher tier stuff locked in a progression system as well. Battlefield Bad Company 2 had something like this, where Magnum Ammo, which is basically stopping power, that was unlocked. It wasn't a high level, but if you were new to the game, you didn't have it, and everybody else pretty much had it, so you were at kind of a disadvantage. And that sucks. If you're at a disadvantage until you unlock something, that does suck. So I guess unlock should either be cosmetic, or you should start with the good stuff, and you should unlock maybe different stuff, or maybe specialized stuff later on. So I don't think progression systems are inherently bad. I do think there can be some enjoyment to be had out of them, certainly by some players. But sometimes the drawn-out progressions can be a little bit excessive. And if high-quality unlocks are behind a whole bunch of grinding, then I think the fun is taken out of it. So it depends on the game, I guess. Sometimes in free-to-play games you do see systems where the progression is designed to be slow in order to incentivize the spending of money, which I don't like. That's one of the reasons I don't play a lot of free-to-play games. They do funnel you down this path of feeling as though you have to spend money if you want the good stuff. But done right, they can be rewarding, and they can encourage experimentation with stuff that otherwise people wouldn't use. And well, games aren't really games without something to do. Main Man Sam says, "Hey Stu, me and many of my friends consider a job like yours to be one of the best jobs out there. A dream job, if you like. Would you say this is your dream job, or has not been what you had hoped? If this isn't your dream job, what would be?" On the face of it, doing this YouTube lark does seem like a pretty good job. And I'm not going to lie to you, playing games, making videos, it's nice. I like video games. I really do. And I enjoy doing multimedia stuff as well, so it's a perfect union of those two things. That being said, there's more to playing games and there's more to the making of the videos. The whole YouTube job lark is really all about turning over views. It's not about how many hours of work you put into your videos, it's about how many eyeballs you can get to watch them. It's about how many ad impressions you can get, basically. And it's not always easy. I mean, you've got to turn over maybe at least 1 million or 2 views a month to even stand a chance of making a living out of this. And there are no guarantees, you know, that interest might wither, it might dry up, and you might be left high and dry without a sufficient income. So it's a pretty terrible job as far as the financial security side of things is concerned. I mean, not only is your income determined by your audience and marketing budgets, at any point your channel could be struck down. If you get enough strikes on your channel, 3 strikes and that's it, boom, you're out. Or maybe one day YouTube decides that they don't want video gaming content because it's too much of a risk on the copyright front. So that's it, one fell swoop, there's your career, boom, gone. So needless to say, it can be quite stressful. But yeah, you know, making videos, it's fun. But it's not exactly my dream job. My dream job would have far better job security, not to mention a more stable income and all of the benefits afforded by employment law. Still, that's the nature of YouTube though, I suppose. It's high risk, high reward. While there's a chance your income might halve next month, there's also the chance it could double. So it goes both ways, although it is, of course, always more likely to go down. Of course, it's worse for the guys at the top, you know, like the PewDiePies of the world, because they're at the top of the game. There is nowhere else for them to go. The only place for them to go is down. And with the nature of YouTube fame, it's almost inevitable. You've got thousands of competitors snapping at your heels, and it's almost a dead cert that in a year, 2 years from now, there'll be someone else who's taken your place. Not me, though. I'm quite content to reside in mediocrity for now. I might not be the biggest channel out there, but I've got better odds of surviving the next couple of years. At least, I hope. Josept asks, while I'd understand if you had some bias towards the short magazine Lee Enfield, what is your favourite World War I/World War II bolt-action rifle? I'm partial to the Mosin Nagant 9130 myself, despite its shortcomings. Given free choice, I probably would gravitate towards the British option, the Lee Enfield. It's a nice rifle, I think we can all agree on that. Nice smooth lockwork with a 10-round magazine. I mean, if we're talking about shooting them today, I wouldn't be the biggest fan of the caliber, 303 British, but you can still get hold of it. Second choice would probably be the Kar 98K. You know, the Germans do good stuff, and it's a fine rifle. Beyond that, Mosin probably be my third choice. And then after that, I don't know, probably the Springfield, maybe the Steyr Mannlicher. Truth be told though, I would happily shoot any of them. Hot Judge says, ahoy, you tend to mention a girlfriend sometimes, but tell me, does she have a name? Believe it or not, she does have a name, yes. You know, like every other person in the world ever. However, because these videos are public and because she has the right to privacy, I choose not to use her name. It's a privacy thing, you know. While I'm content to answer your questions about banal personal stuff, you know, what's your favourite soft drink, what do you think of this, so on and so forth. When it comes to some stuff, it's, you know, you've got to draw a privacy line somewhere. Hey Stu, where do you live? Hey Stu, what's your mother's maiden name? Hey Stu, what's your credit card number? Struggler9996 says, Stu, where do you see your Call of Duty Weapon Guide series going in the future, given the relatively waning interest in the COD series? Is there enough potential money to be made from producing another round of videos for the inevitable Treyarch COD release late this year? Or do you see yourself skipping it altogether to focus on games like Destiny? Well, it's pretty obvious that 2014 is the year to become a variety channel, in my case. Interest in Ghosts is markedly down, and I'll be keen to get it cleared as soon as possible so I can move on to more exciting projects. That being said, though, I haven't ruled out Black Ops 3, or whatever it ends up being called. Just because, you know, it might turn out to be a really solid game, it might review really well, it might have a lot of interest behind it. I'm not going to rule it out. But at this stage, I'm certainly not going to rule it in either. Now, Destiny has my attention, and if Destiny proves to be a good game that I enjoy playing, then you can pretty much bank on videos for that as well. But this is quite a distance in the future. It's, what, 9 months away? So at this stage, it's impossible to say. I can say, however, that in March, Titanfall is a definite. And, well, after that, we'll play it by ear. Jason W. Morningwood says, so Stu, what's your excuse for not mentioning Rockstar with the British Game Studios? I forgot about them alright, the same goes for Rare and all the rest of them. You can't expect me to reel off a list of British developers from memory without missing a couple. Chris Higgins says, Stu, you slightly discussed your thoughts on the fewer amount of views. What about people like me that don't even play COD anymore but continue to watch your videos for the little facts I learn? I haven't been watching these COD videos because of that reason. The piece I listened for is gone, and now there's no reason to watch anything besides these bonus videos. Well, if it turns out that people were only interested in my Call of Duty videos for the history section and not for the game bit, why am I bothering with the game bit? I do understand that a lot of people aren't interested in Ghosts. I get that interest is down on this year. But if you aren't interested in ghosts, then, well, you're not going to be interested in weapon guides. And a 30-second segment on the history of a gun probably won't swing that too far in anyone's favour. So really what you want is not an extra beat on the history of a weapon, but completely different videos. This is one of the troubles you get with an aging subscriber base. You get segmentation, and you get some people who are interested in firearms history, some people who are interested in gameplay tips, and to reconcile the two can be tricky at times. For instance, if I did a pure history series, like I did with the Weapons of Modern Warfare, I'd have comments along the lines of, "Oh, I liked it when you talked about the perks and the attachments I should use." Different people like different things, and it's difficult to reconcile that. On the plus side, I mean, the Ghost series is nearly done, so if you want something else, it's coming pretty soon. But if you're living in hope of the history section making a glorious return for the last few episodes of the Ghost series, it's not going to happen. No, the format is decided. I'm sticking with this one. The Calculator says, "Hello Stuart, I've never asked you a question before. On what basis do you select questions so as I might ask that question so you will answer it? And if you answer this question, does that then mean that the next question I ask will not be answered? This appears to be several questions. I'm not very good at this." Ah yes, the mystical black box that is question selection. Essentially, this is how I do it. At some point during the week, normally Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, just before the bonus goes out, I will read all of the comments. I will start at the bottom and work my way up to the most recent. And as I go through, I will pick out questions that are interesting. And by interesting, I mean sort of comments that will give me something to talk about, or something that I want to talk about. If there's been, something topical that's happened in the week, and I want to discuss it, then I'll pick out a question to specifically target that one. So really, I need something to riff off of. A lot of questions I see are in the format, "Hello Stu, have you heard of X? If so, what do you think about it?" Which is all fine and good if I want to talk about X, but if I haven't heard of X, it would be a case of, "Hello Stu, have you heard of X? If so, what do you think about it?" "No, I have not heard of X." Then move on to the next question. It's kind of a boring response. So if you've asked a question like that and I haven't responded, then it's probably because either I'm not particularly interested in it, or I just haven't heard of it, or, something along those lines. I also try to avoid answering questions that have come up before, and I appreciate, not everybody has seen every single instance of bonus, and I will occasionally repeat questions, but if I answered something last week, then I'm unlikely to answer it again. There were a couple of questions of, like, what sort of music do you listen to? That one comes up quite often, and I talk about the music I listen to once in a while, but not every episode. As far as repeat questions are concerned, I'm not averse to it. I will pick up questions, from successive weeks from the same people. I do see some familiar faces, and that's fine, that's cool, I like that. I guess if it got to the point where I was answering a question from the same guy every week, I might maybe, give them a break. But so far, that's not really come up. Other questions I don't answer, stupid questions. "Hey Stu, do you like stew?" Yeah, I'm skipping that one. Other questions I'm likely to skip. Comments which refer to me as Stewie. Yeah, that's not happening. I'll also try to avoid recurring topics, like if I answer a question and that answer to the question spurs more questions in the same field, then I'll probably skip over them because I don't want to talk about the same stuff every week. One thing that comes up quite regularly are beer questions because of the whole Drinks Ahoy thing. I don't mind answering the occasional beer question, but I do sometimes skip them if I've answered it before, or if it's just, beer for the sake of beer. But otherwise, anything goes. It's just something that has to be interesting and gives me something to talk about. That's really the key thing. Rapinda1911 says, "Hey Stu, what do you think about German beer?" Hey, a beer question. What do I think about German beer? German beer is very good. It's almost as good as British and Belgian beer. That's that's kind of a joke, by the way. I rate German beer, I rate British beer, I rate Belgian beer. In fact, the 4 Bs are the cornerstone of the brewing world. You've got Britain, you've got Belgium, you've got Bavaria, and you've got Bohemia. There are a few other places that are quite important as well, but they don't start with a B, so they don't count. Rob Edwards says, "Stu, out of any game, what's your favourite minigame?" Without a shadow of a doubt, the best minigame in any game ever has to be sword fighting in Secret of Monkey Island. Instead of trading blades, it's a question of trading insults, and it's a classic and it's brilliant. Alright, time for one more. DHVS here BDH says, "Hey Stu, what's your favourite non-English word and why?" Now the Germans have a few good words, don't they? You know, you got Schadenfreude, Katzenjammer, and Krankenwagen. But I think my favourite non-English word is a Dutch one, and this is something I learned whilst I was doing translations for an e-commerce shop. It's the Dutch word for shopping cart. And it's brilliant, Winkelwagen. I love it. It's Winkelwagen. How is that not funny to you? Winkelwagen. And yes, I know the Dutch, they have a funny G, so it's probably not Wagen, it's probably Wagen. I can't quite do it. But anyway, yeah, it's funny. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Until next week, farewell.